Hello, my friends. Assalamu alaikum. Let's learn something from Leo Tolstoy's life story. As you might be knowing, he was a Russian writer and he is regarded as one of the greatest and most influential authors of all time. Let's begin, my friends. Today, we will try to learn from Leo Tolstoy's search for life's meaning. My friends, Leo Tolstoy, one of the greatest writers in history, wrestled with some of the most difficult questions about life. Despite his immense success as the author of masterpieces like War and Peace and Anna Karenina, his wealth, fame, and loving family, Tolstoy was deeply troubled by thoughts about the purpose of life. My friends, by the time he reached 50, Tolstoy found himself overwhelmed by existential questions such as, why am I here? What is my purpose? Why should I care if everything ends with death? These thoughts threw him into a severe crisis. He could not find happiness in his achievements, and the joys of life seemed meaningless. He became consumed by thoughts of life's futility, to the point where he admitted that only sleep gave him some relief from his troubling questions. My friends, in his essay A Confession, Tolstoy revealed how close he came to despair. He struggled to find answers to the relentless why questions. It was as if he were trapped in a dark tunnel with no light. Despite his despair, he decided to search for meaning rather than give up on life. Tolstoy often reflected on a parable that deeply resonated with him. Here is the parable. A man fleeing a wild beast jumps into a well. At the bottom of the well is a dragon waiting to devour him. The man clings to a branch growing from the well's wall. While dangling, he notices drops of honey on the branch. Despite his dire situation, he tastes the honey, temporarily distracted from the danger above and below. My friends, for Tolstoy, the wild beast symbolized existential dread. The dragon represented death, and the honey was the small joys of life. He realized that while life's sweetness can be fleeting, it can still inspire hope and a search for purpose. My friends, Tolstoy observed that people handled the challenges of existence in 4 ways. Number 1, ignorance. Some people avoid thinking about life's deeper questions. They ignore the absurdity of existence and focus on daily life. Why Tolstoy rejected this? Because ignorance couldn't work for him, because his mind constantly questioned the meaning of life. Point number 2, pleasure and indulgence. Others fill their lives with material comforts, relationships, and entertainment to escape existential worries. But why Tolstoy rejected this as well? Because he felt that indulgence was like the honey in the parable, sweet but temporary. It did not address deeper questions about purpose. Point number 3, despair and suicide. Some, unable to find meaning, end their lives. Tolstoy admitted He had considered this but ultimately rejected it. But why Tolstoy rejected this? Because he believed life's purpose could still be found even if it required a deep and difficult search. Point number 4. Existential limbo. Some people recognize life's struggles but do nothing about it. They live in a state of passive resignation, neither embracing life nor rejecting it. But why Tolstoy rejected this as well? Because he saw it as a weak and unsatisfying way to live, offering no hope or growth. My friends, Tolstoy's turning point came when he observed the lives of poor peasants. Despite their hardships, they found strength and purpose in their faith. He realized that their belief in something greater, that is God, gave them resilience and hope. This faith stood in stark contrast to Tolstoy's intellectual skepticism and rational thinking, which had led him into despair. He began to see that reason alone couldn't provide answers to life's ultimate questions. My friends, as Tolstoy embraced faith, he found a sense of peace. He realized that life wasn't just about achievements or logic. It was about believing in something eternal and living for others. He simplified his lifestyle, gave away much of his wealth, and dedicated himself to serving the poor. This transformation brought him the contentment he had long sought. His later years were marked by humility, service, and devotion to God. My friends, what is Tolstoy's legacy? Tolstoy's journey shows that life's meaning often lies beyond intellect and material success. For him, faith provided the answer. While not everyone may follow the same path, his story is a reminder to keep searching for purpose and to hold on to hope even in the darkest times. My friends, Tolstoy's journey toward finding meaning in life resonates with many themes in the Quran. Here are a few Quranic verses that support and reflect his reflections. Number 1. Life's temporary nature and search for purpose. Tolstoy's realization about the fleeting joys of life aligns with the Quran's reminder of life's temporary nature and the need to reflect on our purpose. For example, in chapter 21, verse 16 of Quran, Allah says, "And we did not create the heaven and the earth and all that is between them in play." In chapter 23 of Quran, verse 115, it states, "Did you think that we had created you in play and that you would not be brought back to us?" My friends, these verses call humans to reflect on the deeper purpose of life, just as Tolstoy did. Point number 2. The role of faith in finding peace. My friends, Tolstoy found peace in faith after realizing that reason alone could not answer life's ultimate questions. The Quran highlights the importance of faith and remembrance of God for inner tranquility. In chapter 13 of Quran, verse 28, it states, "Unquestionably, by the remembrance of Allah, hearts are assured." In chapter 20, Verse 124, Quran states, "And whoever turns away from my remembrance, indeed, he will have a depressed life." My friends, faith gave Tolstoy the spiritual anchor he needed to navigate life's struggles. Point number 3, living with simplicity and serving others. My friends, Tolstoy's shift to a simpler, service-oriented life mirrors the Quran's emphasis on humility and helping others. For example, in chapter 76 of Quran, verses 8 to 9, it states, "And they give food in spite of love for it to the needy, the orphan, and the captive, saying, We feed you only for the countenance of Allah. We wish not from you reward or gratitude." In chapter 2, verse 261, Quran states, "The example of those who spend their wealth in the way of Allah is like a seed of goodness that grows 7 years. In every year is 100 grains." My friends, service to others and detachment from materialism brought Tolstoy closer to contentment as encouraged in Islam. Point number 4, God as the source of meaning. My friends, Tolstoy's discovery of faith reflects the Quran's central message, that is, that ultimate purpose and salvation lie in recognizing and submitting to God. In chapter 6, verse 162, Quran states, "Indeed, my prayer, my rites of sacrifice, my living and my dying are for Allah, Lord of the worlds." In chapter 51, verse 56, Allah says, "And I did not create the jinn and mankind except to worship me." My friends, these verses affirm that life's ultimate meaning is found in connection to God. Point number 5, hope despite hardship. My friends, Tolstoy's struggle with despair echoes the Quran's reassurance to never lose hope in God's mercy. In chapter 39, verse 53, Allah says, "Say, O my servants who have transgressed against themselves by sinning, do not despair of the mercy of Allah. Indeed, Allah forgives all sins. Indeed, it is He who is the forgiving, the merciful." My friends, this reflects the hope and renewal that Tolstoy found through his faith journey. My friends, I will close by saying that these Quranic insights mirror the profound lessons Tolstoy learned about faith, purpose, and service. Thank you for listening, my friends. See you soon again. Assalamu alaikum.